Saturn is beautiful. Neptune is chaos. But Uranus? Uranus is something else entirely. It hangs there in the outer dark, pale, featureless, silent, no swirling storms, no grand rings catching the light, just a smooth, cold sphere drifting through the void like something that forgot how to live. And that's exactly what makes it the most terrifying object in our solar system. The crime scene. Look at it closely. Something is wrong. Every other planet in our neighborhood spins like a top axis, roughly upright, poles pointing up and down. But Uranus, it rolls on its side like a corpse tumbling through space, tilted 98 degrees from vertical. This isn't some gentle quirk of formation. This is evidence. Scientists believe that billions of years ago, something massive, perhaps twice the size of Earth, slammed into Uranus with such catastrophic force that it knocked the entire planet onto its side. A planetary murder. A collision so violent, it should have shattered everything. But Uranus didn't shatter. It survived. And that survival created something far worse than destruction. The seasonal nightmare. Uranus takes 84 Earth years to orbit the Sunday. Because it's spinning on its side, each pole faces the sun for 42 consecutive years. Let that settle in. Imagine being born on Uranus's North Pole during summer. The sun hangs above you, dim, distant, but there, for your entire childhood, your entire education, your career, your middle age. That pale star never sets. Then, as you approach old age, it begins to sink. And for the next 42 years, the entire second half of your life, you live in total darkness. No dawn, no sunset, just an endless, frozen night where temperatures plummet to negative 224 degrees Celsius, negative 371 degrees Fahrenheit, and the only light comes from distant stars and the planet's faint, broken rings. This isn't a season. This is a geological epoch of darkness, the dead interior. Here's where it gets stranger. Every other gas giant radiates more heat than it receives from the Sunday. Jupiter glows with internal warmth. Saturn does too. Neptune is a furnace of residual formation heat. But Uranus? Nearly nothing. It absorbs sunlight and releases almost no internal heat, as if something inside went cold long ago. Scientists don't know why. The leading theory? That ancient collision didn't just knock Uranus over. It may have ejected its core heat into space, leaving behind a frozen shell of methane, water, and ammonia ice, compressed into exotic states of matter we can barely simulate on Earth. Deep inside, beneath clouds of hydrogen sulfide, the same chemical that gives rotten eggs their stench, the pressure becomes so extreme that scientists believe carbon crystallizes out of the atmosphere and rains down as diamonds, sinking slowly through layers of superheated ice that remains solid under crushing gravity. A planet that smells like decay, raining gemstones into an ocean of ice that never melts. The shattered court. Uranus has 27 known moons. Most are named after Shakespearean characters: Oberon, Titania, Ariel, Miranda. But these aren't elegant celestial dancers. They're wreckage. Take Miranda. When Voyager 2 flew past in 1986, the only spacecraft to ever visit it photographed a moon that looks like it was broken apart and reassembled. Massive canyons 20 kilometers deep scar its surface. Cliffs so tall that if you jumped off one in Miranda's low gravity, you'd fall for 10 minutes before hitting the ground. Scientists think Miranda may have been shattered by a collision, then pulled back together by its own gravity. A moon that died and came back wrong. And it's not alone. Uranus's moons orbit in a system so chaotic, so gravitationally unstable, that computer models suggest they may be on collision courses with each other in the distant future. This system is still breaking. The rings of evidence. Uranus has rings, 13 of them, but unlike Saturn's bright, icy bands, Uranus's rings are dark, made of radiation-scorched particles, likely the pulverized remains of moons destroyed long ago. They circle the planet vertically because Uranus is lying on its side, creating a structure so alien that early astronomers thought their telescopes were malfunctioning. These rings don't shine. They absorb light. They're not decoration. They're a graveyard. The loneliness. We've sent 5 spacecraft to Jupiter, 4 to Saturn. Even Neptune got a visit. But Uranus? One flyby, one brief encounter in 1986, a handful of blurry images, some measurements, and then Voyager 2 continued into the dark, never to return. No orbiter, no lander, no return mission planned. Uranus remains the least explored planet in our solar system, not because it's unimportant, but because it's so far, so cold, so unrewarding to our instruments that we've collectively looked away. It drifts out there, 2.9 billion kilometers from the sun, rotating on its broken axis, exhaling clouds of hydrogen sulfide into the void, waiting for no one. The thing about corpses, here's what we forget. Corpses tell stories. Uranus isn't boring. It's a scar, a record of violence so ancient we can only reconstruct it from the wreckage left behind. It's a planet that was murdered and survived, but the survival changed it, made it cold, made it wrong, and it's still out there, rolling slowly through the outer dark. Its rings made of shattered moons, its core a frozen enigma, its seasons measured in human lifetimes, a pale, chemical-reeking tomb spinning on its side, alone, waiting, and utterly, profoundly indifferent to whether we ever come back